All right, today we are diving into a massive origin story. But we're not talking about a superhero or some tech giant. No, we're talking about society itself. We're going way, way back to the very beginning to figure out how the world's first great civilizations even happened. So let's kick things off with a big central mystery. You think about ancient Egypt, the Indus Valley, early China, Mesopotamia. What do they all have in common? A giant river. So why? What was the secret sauce in those river valleys that literally kick-started human civilization as we know it? Well, to crack this puzzle, we have to zoom in on one very specific region, a place that's often called the cradle of civilization. Because the answer to why we live in cities and have nations today, it really all starts right here, in Mesopotamia. Okay, first up, the land between rivers. To really get what happened here, we gotta get our bearings. Let's figure out the geography of Mesopotamia. Where in the world are we? Our whole story unfolds in a region that historians call the Fertile Crescent. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. Just picture a giant boomerang of lush, farmable land curving across what's otherwise a pretty dry part of the world. So yeah, it's no surprise it got the nickname the Cradle of Civilization. And right in the heart of that crescent, that's Mesopotamia. The name itself is a dead giveaway. It literally means land between the rivers. And we're talking about two specific, mighty rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. You have to understand, these two rivers were the absolute lifeblood of everything that was about to happen. And look, this isn't some mythical, lost land we're talking about. Ancient Mesopotamia is right there under our feet. It's modern-day Iraq, plus parts of Syria, Turkey, Kuwait, and Iran. The history we're digging into is written into the very soil of the Middle East today. Which brings us to our next section, the farming revolution. Because this unique geography set the stage for one of the single most important moments in all of human history, a total shift in how we live that changed absolutely everything. You have to remember, for almost all of human history, we were nomads. We were hunters and gatherers, always on the move, chasing our next meal. But right here, in the Fertile Crescent, that ancient way of life started to end. People figured out how to domesticate plants and animals. They started farming. And this is it. This is the whole ballgame. It all comes down to one word: surplus. This was the ultimate game changer. It wasn't just about growing enough food for your family for the day. For the first time ever, it was about growing more than you needed. Having extra. Having food you could store. This incredibly simple idea was about to completely remake the human world. Okay, so how in the world does a little extra grain lead to a sprawling city with kings and armies and markets? Well, it happens because that little surplus kicks off a powerful chain reaction. I mean, really, just stop and think about that for a second. If for your entire species' existence, every single person's number one job, every single day, was just finding food, what happens when that's no longer true? What do people do with all that newfound free time? Well, here's how that chain reaction works. Step 1, that reliable food supply, that surplus, frees people up, which leads to step 2. People can now specialize in new jobs. They become artisans or soldiers or priests. And once you have all these different jobs, this division of labor, you get to step 3, trade. And as trade grows and becomes more complex, step 4 happens. Those little settlements grow into huge, complex cities. That's how you do it. And that leads us right here, to the world they invented. Because once you have thousands of people packed together, living in these complex new cities, the stage is set for something absolutely incredible, an explosion of innovation. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you have artisans and traders and priests and thinkers all rubbing elbows in one place, sharing ideas, competing with each other, it creates this incredible hotbed of invention. The new challenges of city life, like how do you organize thousands of people? How do you trade goods over long distances? All of them demanded brand new solutions. And the solutions they came up with are just astounding. We're talking about the wheel, which completely transformed transportation. The sailboat, so they could master the rivers. They literally developed the concept of time as we know it, dividing days into hours and minutes. They drew up maps to navigate their world. And maybe, just maybe, the most important of all, they invented writing. And you have to let that sink in for a second. These aren't just cool historical facts. They are the fundamental building blocks, the operating system, for our entire modern world. Without these Mesopotamian inventions, our world today is just unimaginable. Seriously, every time you check your watch or get in a car, you're tapping into an idea born in ancient Mesopotamia. So we'll leave you with this question to chew on. Out of all these incredible inventions, the wheel, the concept of time, writing, which one of these ancient ideas, born thousands of years ago in that land between two rivers, has the biggest impact on your life today?